Hi, I'm Talia.
Hi, I'm Matthew,
And
we are
the
the Critics. And the film that we are reviewing this week is the newest adaptation of The Jungle Book, which unfortunately neither of us are a fan of for a whole host of reasons. We will try and keep our moaning and groaning session short, but getting straight into it, this is clearly not a kid's film.
It was dark.
It was super dark.
Scary.
It was very much, I found myself asking all the time, like, why so serious? I think even Dark Knight was slightly more humorous in some places, but very much not a kid's film. A very dark take on characters, which is problematic for reasons we'll get into just now. But I would be more scared than anything if I was a kid watching it.
Yeah, there were a few jumps and scares which I even felt.
Yeah.
And Mowgli is a child, so kids
Yeah.
would relate to him and put themselves through those emotions.
Yeah.
It was quite dark. On the topic of Mowgli, we didn't quite get what their message was regarding man. Of course, he is a man cub and he's been raised with wolves and he's part of the jungle. But towards the end, their message got a bit confusing. To me, it felt as if they were trying to show that setting the jungle alight and sort of riding on elephants, controlling animals is a good thing, which it's not. But it got a bit confusing, whereas I think in the original Disney adaptation, which was made in the 60s, although it was light-hearted, Mowgli sort of felt a bit more integrated with everything.
Yeah.
Matt, you had other issues with
that. So because it's a movie, you expect to get something out of it.
A clear message.
Yeah.
And especially a kid's
especially something that you would assume at least to be made for kids. Yet, for me, the message that I got from the film was that you're meant to individually be part of a group, which doesn't work. Especially, yes, that's how we go on day-to-day lives. You're individual, but you try and fit in with everyone else. But normally it's clearly like, here's why you need to be an individual. Here's why you need to be part of a group. And they were never really put together. I think in the final shot they tried to marry the two ideas. But before then it had very clearly been, we are wolf, we are pack, or I am Mowgli, I have tricks and must be unique. And Baloo seemed to encourage that. And yet it became important for him to be both and different at the same time at the end.
From the way I saw it, use my conscience as a man to manipulate animals and sort of destroy them towards the end.
Yeah,
that would
be a legitimate way of viewing the message of this film.
So
I think the general consensus amongst us at least is we had no idea what this movie was trying to achieve. I think also what was very problematic in this movie, just as with art, and we'll get to comparing it to the 60s just now, but it was just very bad editing decisions. We lost out on a lot of stories that we really liked. We'll touch on those, but just briefly, we lost out on the entire elephant story. Kaa was made a very small role. King Louie's role was changed. We lost out on a lot of the relationship and character interactions that made the first movie so good, all so that we could get Mowgli running through the jungle a lot, having very annoying, unnecessary conversations with Bagheera, and lots of dramatic landscape shots and things like that.
Which were all CGI.
Which didn't add to whatever message this movie was or wasn't trying to create. And so we lost a lot of the things that made the original a good film.
Endearing to us,
An endearing film that you would watch over and over again, that you would have memorable moments or characters from, all for things that didn't add to the movie, and I think just very poor editing choices the whole way through.
So hand in hand with the choppy editing was the fact that because we were shown Mowgli running through the jungle for most of the film, we lost out on the characters, as you mentioned. So there were many important characters from the original Disney adaptation of the book that we missed in this film. Number one, Kaa.
Yeah.
I was so looking forward to that because I'm a fan of Scarlett Johansson, and it seemed as if from the trailer that she was going to be a pivotal part of the film. And in the original Disney film, Kaa, besides being really scary, is also a source of comedy in the movie. He's sort of like, he's a schemer, but he's also confused in himself. Matt compared him earlier to the Cheshire Cat character in the Alice in Wonderland story, which I thought was a fair comparison because he's always there and he seems a bit high all the time. Tangles himself up and
definitely thought of whilst on drugs.
Yeah. He hypnotizes Mowgli, which is an important thing. It's an important part of the story. The vultures we also missed.
Yes.
Although in the original they added that 60s kind of style, British style to the movie, we thought they could have done it here. I mean, they didn't have to be British and look like the Beatles, which they did in the original, but they could have been there offering some kind of, prediction of the doom and gloom that was going to come. Something. Shere Khan also, I think we saw too much of him.
Yeah.
In the original, he was only spoken about, and there was all of this build-up that he was so scary and evil. And then when you saw him, you did feel scared. As a child, you did really like you. It was intimidating.
That final scene was very scary.
Exactly. But here, he's there all the time. They did try and create that British style with Idris Elba giving the voice, and he sounded like a Londoner. But it just didn't have that same impact. I don't know. It just felt flat.
It became very much the whole way through a kid versus a tiger.
Yeah.
And that everyone would put their money on the tiger.
But one of the important points of that original Disney is that it was character driven. Every character had their own, they owned their role in the film.
Yeah.
Like Bagheera, you knew he was right there by Mowgli's side. He was strict, he was like the grandfather type of character. Baloo was like the hobo on the side who just sort of, made him have fun.
I was going to go with fun uncle. Hobo works too.
But I don't know, this just kind of fell flat, although they had a good cast.
Yeah.
I just can't believe Scarlett Johansson had 5 minutes in the film. And all she did was a typical snake move, try to eat him.
Yeah.
Which is what Kaa wanted to do in the original, but he had a lot of character.
Yeah.
Also, Mowgli was just...
so bad.
Mowgli was very annoying.
So bad.
It was like watching one of those annoying American kids films from the 90s. I don't know, he had that type of attitude.
I mean, look, it's obviously very difficult to act with nothing.
Yeah.
So that's not easy. But that's why it was, for a lot of reasons, why it was animated the first time, but why it works so much better is because you don't have to have a child's performance on screen.
Yeah. The script also didn't give you much to...
It gave him a lot to say, but it was a lot of silly things.
It was annoying.
Yeah. Annoying's a good word there. But yeah, I think we lost out on a lot in terms of characters, and the elephants became very weird and godlike.
When they were just soldier, like they had a soldier.
Yeah, when they were comic relief in the original, when they were fun and it was enjoyable to watch them, and like children's movies probably should be.
Along with the weird scenery of Mowgli jumping around. To me, The Jungle Book is an Indian story. It's about Mowgli being in India, in the Indian jungle, where the tiger would be the king of the jungle.
Yes.
Snakes would hypnotize people, but there were rhinos in this film, and there were buffalo and a lot of animals that sort of made me think of Lion King. There was even a wildebeest chasing scene, stampede sort of scene, which was
through
weird.
like a valley.
I was confused about where we were. Perhaps I haven't read the book, so perhaps the book lends itself more to that.
Had rhinos in it? I doubt
but I don't know. I just thought that in the original Disney it was very...
And also it made more sense. I mean, we were having this discussion about how the monsoon season plays an important role in the original.
Yeah.
And it ties in everything, and it makes the final scene make a lot more sense, and when the jungle catches the light and when the rain puts it out. And here, they use it completely wrong.
Suddenly you feel like you're in the Serengeti.
Yeah.
It was strange.
It was strange, but also, I mean, it's important that the forest is dry because that's how it catches a light. You can't have a wet forest catch a light. That's not how wildfires start. And then how the rain puts it out. I mean, there were a lot of, if you're going to make a very realistic movie, It's got to be realistic.
elements.
Otherwise, we can't be suspending all of our disbelief because then just put it back into cartoon for me.
And certain animals could talk and certain
animals couldn't. And Mowgli admitted to that by asking that one animal, what language do you speak? Do you have a language?
It's very strange.
Which I think is the most offensive way of asking someone if they can speak.
King Louis' character as well. I initially bought into it when they tried to make him like this mafia boss who sort of owns his place because it's Christopher Walken. And
it was still very weird hearing Christopher Walken as a monkey.
It suddenly breaks out into song we know and love, but it didn't fit at all. I mean, it's literally like you're watching The Godfather and suddenly it turns into a musical. Didn't work at all. They should have just kept along that line.
Yeah.
It would have worked perfectly.
All of the homages are bad. Even the bare necessities, when they start talking about eating ants, but no one's eaten any ants up until that stage. It closes on a book closing, which
homage to the
original, but that's not how it opens, so it's weird. And it didn't feel very Disney at all.
And I didn't get that feeling of nostalgia, which is
what I
thought I would.
Yeah, I don't think you would. You wouldn't pick this movie over the original. You wouldn't remember any characters from this. If this is the only Jungle Book you watched, you would write it off as a bad film and never think of it again, which is not how you would think of the 60s one. But also on the CGI aspect, I think it's, and I was realizing this during the movie, the reason the story lends itself so much better to cartoon animation rather than CGI is that in cartoons you can animate emotions into animals. And Car's an amazing example of overacting but to make a point and to create emotion. Whereas with the Scarlett Johansson Car, because you're being so realistic, you can't. A snake can only make one face.
And then try to eat you.
That's it. It can, or two. It can have its mouth closed or its mouth open because that is the full extent of snake expressions.
But he was so funny in the
exactly,
cartoon.
and you can't do any of that. You can't, if you're being realistic with CGI, you can't make it smile. You can't do anything with that. I think a good film to compare to would be the recent Alice in Wonderland films that we have. But even then, it's still more reliance on human actors because they can give a range of emotions and then having crazy out of tune animals. But when you make it very realistic, you can't animate that emotion that's so important for telling a story.
Yeah. Because
this is a visual forum again, we need to pick up on all those visual clues. When you only have two facial expressions, you can't bring that across. So I think that's just problematic with the whole direction. And then lastly, I think in terms of the ending that we were speaking about, again, a lot of confusion. I mean, Shere Khan stands up and says, Mowgli, you can't use fire because then you become exactly like man, and then Mowgli throws the fire away, but still ultimately ends up killing him with fire. So did he use fire or didn't he use fire? Is it fine that no one saw it? Maybe that's why no one was there to see him use fire.
Or he used his manly tricks to make him fall into fire and trap an animal.
Yeah, and then also an animal that, unlike in the original, was completely fine with fire, but for some reason couldn't jump out of the fire that he landed in. Even though cats are notoriously famous for landing on their feet and being okay. So, yeah.
It didn't gel.
It didn't. Don't go and watch. Make some popcorn at home.
Watch the original.
Watch the original.
But once again, I will say, as we have been saying with the adaptations we've been watching, I'm glad that we are in the age where we are able to go and watch The Jungle Book made into a live action film. Although it wasn't great, it could have been a lot better, but it's been made. Yeah.
I think that's the best review we can give. It's been made.
Yeah, it's been made.
It's been made, guys.
Go and watch. We are going to watch the original.
Yeah.
Again.
Just to feel good about life again.
Definitely. Alright, so thank you for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed our video, please like and subscribe to our channel. You can also check out the links to our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter in the description box below. Should we give it a rating, Matt?
Yeah, let's do this.
Half for me.
I'm willing to go negative, but it's not. It's a 0. I would never watch this again.
Half for me. It's not memorable. I wouldn't show it to my kids in future.
No.
Great. I'm Talia.
I'm Matthew.
And this has been the Critics' Review of Disney's The Jungle Book.